Hello, welcome back to my ICE YouTube tutorial series. This is going to be a video about double buffering, and we're going to pick off right where we left off from last video, which was about getkey. Last video we made this program, and the idea was we had a square on the screen that we could control with the arrow keys, specifically only the right arrow key right now. So I have the exact same program, except I just made it so that the square stops when we reach the right edge of the screen, just so that we didn't have any issues if we accidentally went over. So right now it looks like we're just drawing a long line. It doesn't look like we're actually moving a square, and that's because we're not erasing the square behind us. So how do we do that? Well, we could draw a white shape over the old square, but if we're changing more things, if we're changing not just the square, but if we're changing the entire screen, and if there's going to be a background behind this, a complex background, it might be hard to erase things like that, which is why instead we're going to redraw the entire screen. So what that'll do is it'll make the screen completely white again, and then it'll place the square at the new X position. So that seems like it'll be a good solution, so let's try that out. So instead of just drawing the square in the game loop, let's get rid of this det5, and let's put that before we draw the square, so that the screen is cleared before we draw the square. Let's compile that. And now when we run the program, you can see that the square is getting moved, but it's sort of flashing white over it. Why does that happen? Well, it's happening because we're redrawing that white screen every time, and for a moment in the code, this line of code, there's only a white screen, and then the black square is added. So for a time, there is no black square on the screen. And the problem with this becomes, as you add more and more things to the screen, it takes longer and longer to draw the entire screen, so you see things added in bursts. You see them being added one by one, and it doesn't look good, and it gives you the flashing that we just saw. So we're going to remedy that, and how we're going to remedy that is we're going to draw everything to like a ghost screen. So we're going to take basically a copy of the screen, and we're going to draw everything there but not display it. And once everything is added, we'll just switch out the two screens. So then we'll display that image that we just created. So we're going to create the image by adding everything, even though it'll take a while to add. We'll add it all but not display it, and then when we switch it over, it'll all display at the same time. So that way we don't get a flickering, because everything will get displayed at the same time. And like I said, how we're accomplishing that is by drawing everything off screen and then switching it with everything that's on screen. And that's called buffering. So this is actually really simple to do. First of all, we have to tell ICE that we're going to start double buffering. And the command for this is setdraw1. So it's going to be det9, 1. And what this means is you're telling ICE to start drawing to the buffer instead of the screen. So if we had setdraw0, it would draw directly to the screen. But we want to setdraw1 so that these shapes aren't being added to the screen, but they're being added to our ghost screen. And then in the program, after we've drawn everything, we want to switch the ghost screen and the real screen, which is swap draw, which is det10. It's just det10, that's the command. So now, that's all there is to it. So at the start of the program, before you draw anything, you want to setdraw1. You want to, in your main loop, draw what you want to draw onto the screen, and then swap the buffer in the screen. So if we run that, you can see that that's a lot smoother than it was before with the flickering. But you also notice that it's slower. So buffering will slow down your program. And you have to keep in mind that we're drawing the entire screen again. And when we get farther on in the series, we'll talk about clipping, which is a way to draw only part of the screen again. But for right now, that's going to be the entire video. So this was a really short one. And next video, we're going to talk about sprites and convert PNG. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching.